Welcome. My name is Wendy BArlin, and I am the advisor for advisors. And today I have with me Chantel Bonneau, who is a long-term client and friend, and in my experience, an expert on this topic. We wanted to talk about the state of being an advisor today, what that means, what are some of the challenges, what are the upsides, and then what Chantel can share with you, because she's built her business over the last 10 years, Chantel?
Yeah.
About from the ground up. And she has done so with integrity, putting her clients first. Chantel does come from a financial background, which definitely helps. But for what I teach my clients and what I hope to bring to you today is some pointers on the changes you can make to redirect your business. So welcome, Chantel. Thank you for coming to share your opinions with us today.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Chantel and I have had a lot of conversations about advisors who work so hard and yet make no money. And it is very hard in the advising community to reach out for help because you are seen as the expert. And there's a feeling of weakness, of shame perhaps. You don't want people to know that you're not making as much money as the guy in the office next to you. And we get that. And it's the same as the cobbler story, where the cobbler's children have no shoes. For me, there was a year I didn't file my own taxes. I forgot. I was filing everybody else's. And then I got a notice in the mail and I could not believe that had happened to me. So I see a lot of that in the advising world. Chantel, would you advise advisors to take on profitability and cash flow consultants and get help? I know there's a lot of coaching and consulting going on in the area of sales, customer relationships, but in terms of their money and their profitability, do you think we can find a way to say, yes, it is okay to work with a coach and a consultant in this area?
Absolutely. And first of all, it's important to have as much self-information as possible. It's hard to be great at everything. And even if you are great at everything, it's hard to have the time to do everything. So absolutely, it's important to have a grip on all these things because in our field, it's expected that we represent quality financial planning, hopefully for ourselves also. And, there's lots of stress we have thinking about clients and making sure that they're making the right choices, that we should not be our worst client or an additional stress to that. And of course, again, like we talked about, profitability allows you to continue in this business, continue working with clients, etc. One great example is I studied accounting in college, yet you have done accounting work for me. Nothing is wrong with that. The accounting world changes every year. Tax code changes. There is no way that I will be as good as you when it comes to the tax side. And that is a reality. And because I understand and acknowledge that, I've been able to delegate that to you, a professional who this is your 100% focus and line of work. So absolutely, I think there's a big area of opportunity for that, for coaching around if you're getting the right rate of return on your staff or marketing expenses, things like that are hopefully investments to grow your practice. There's great coaching that you can get around how much you should be spending if you don't have those resources from your company or something like that. And ultimately, we have to be good stewards of the work that we project. It is so true, that phrase, the cobbler's kids have no shoes. It's applicable in almost every industry, which is so funny. But I'm hopeful that people in the advising or the financial planning industry hopefully have very little excuse to not be a great example of financial planning because it is so important, as we all know.
And I feel like our clients can feel that from us, that we speak from a place of integrity, that when we show them the way, they're following us and we are leading by example. And I know that's not always easy to do. I myself have a business coach that I pay to help me be better at what I do in delivering my message to my clients. We are big proponents of reading and of books. And several years ago, I found the book Profit First, which really is the same as the white envelope system that our grandparents used to use. Put money in the envelope, you only spend what's there and no more. takes away from the credit card generation. And I really love this book. It spoke to me. It spoke to my clients. And I thought, all right, I'm going to do this. But guess what? I got trapped back into my world and I didn't implement. I was the worst FTI, failure to implement. And what did I do? I had to reach out to the professionals and the person who wrote the book to help me implement. And so our role is to help you implement, because as much as we say we should all be teaching what we know and following this in our own lives, it's not always so easy. Chantel herself has authored a book. Chantel, would you like to tell us what you're sharing with the world through your book?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to find a book or a philosophy that really does speak to you. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. And so I know when you brought up the profit first idea before, there's lots of people that try their hardest and they overspend, and you need to change it, right? We have to find a way to find net savings in order to accomplish our goals financially. So if that works for you, that's incredible. And there's a lot of people that do need things like that. I decided to write a book about 2 years ago. The book came out this year, and the idea behind it was that I felt that so many consumers were asking so many questions and they didn't know where to turn. And I would meet with clients and they would say, is there anything I can read in between our next meeting? And the problem is that after looking for so many books, so many articles, white papers, I noticed that so many of them were extremely biased toward a product or a philosophy that was very aggressive or was really aimed to a lower income demographic that didn't appeal to a lot of my clients, or the information in there was not applicable to their situation. So that encouraged me to write a book that focused a lot more around their behavior when it comes to planning. And one of the ways that I think I've been very effective with clients is that I have been able to identify a little bit about their personality and how to guide them best based on who they are. I don't think that I have one way to do something and all of my clients need to be shoved into this square in order to succeed. So my philosophy behind the book, I have a copy of it here so that you can look at it. My philosophy behind the book is that there are different personality types and their approach to planning. So for example, one type of client is the implementer. And the implementer is someone who really wants to spend their time finding those professionals that they trust, verifying that they're the right person, and then letting them take the ball. And then they want to be, have a review and be informed of what's going on. So an implementer is a high capacity person that really believes in delegating and then also verifying. Another example is a capable student. That's a client I come across all the time that is just so eager to learn. All they want to do is learn, but sometimes they forget to actually execute or implement. And they don't realize that sometimes the small steps add up. It's not one particular moment when everything becomes easier to do. So throughout my book, I identify those different personality types, which helps the individual self-identify which one or two they belong to. And then talks about really simple steps on how to actually build a plan. It doesn't get into products. You would either need an advisor or some information to obviously get into that. But it focuses on how you should budget, how you should goal set, how to follow up, what kind of partners you need. And then the last chapter is about relationships, because I have found, and I'm sure you have, Wendy, that many clients that are married or in a committed relationship speak very differently about money. And that's where so many of their problems stem from. And they just don't realize that they see things from completely different perspectives, and it's causing this bickering that is difficult to get over. So this is hopefully to help them understand those different perspectives and how to work best together. So my book is Finding Your Financial Type. And it's really about clearing the hurdles to financial wellness. So hopefully that can be a value add to some advisors to give to clients, or to some clients who just want some more information about how they can really own their financial life.
I love it. Thank you. And again, practicing what you're preaching, yes. Because even though there are all these different types with all these issues, we all acknowledge that with our spouse, with our family, we have those same issues that our clients do. And when Chantel writes this book and shares this information with you, these are issues that you've dealt with, that you deal with on a daily basis. and that you then share with others from leading by example again. And that's what I find so valuable. This book, Chantel, has been a while in coming. This is not something you just sat down and did. It's been 10 years in the industry plus to come to this point where you have this experience that you can now share. And again, from a place of profitability, I will tell you, Chantel's business is profitable, and that's by design, not by default. Correct. So thank you for joining us, Chantel. Where can people find your book today?
Absolutely. You can find the book on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. So please check it out.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. If anybody has any questions, you are most welcome to reach out at www.aboutprofit.com. That's aboutprofit.com. We're happy to continue this discussion about creating the profitable advisor. Thank you.